Holy cow, I just grew another 1,000 people.
Since lunch?
Yes.
What is your secret? I'm here today with Wendy Conklin, the founder of Chair Whimsy. Now, before we get into the details of your Instagram strategy and my jealousy of your growth, because you've done so well, why don't you share a little bit about your business and your brand?
I started back in 2012. I was a teacher, took an upholstery course and loved it. And I'd always tried to redo chairs, but they were janky, and so I learned how to do it the right way. Started selling on Etsy. It's just a hobby. It was a lot of fun. And then when I started making more sales, it was like, ooh, I really like this and not what I'm doing for my career. So it took me about 6.5 years to quit my day job and figure out how to make money doing chairs. So I started selling more and more chairs. I finally hit 6 figures selling chairs, which was really awesome. And then someone told me, a business coach at the time said, you need to make a course and teach people. I'm like, nobody wants to learn from me. I'm going to blame it on her if it fails, but it didn't fail. Did really, really well. Kind of the rest is history. I have a lot of other little courses, but my signature course is DIY upholstery, and it teaches beginners how to do exactly what I do.
So what has brought you into the Instagram world, the world that I live in? Because obviously it's a great place to sell your product, but what's been your experience so far with growing your business on Instagram?
Yeah, so I started back in 2015 on Instagram, and my first post, I think I had 16 likes, and like 2 of them were my family members, and the rest were all friends who just knew I had gotten on there. And it just took a long time. But I just started posting because at the time I didn't overthink it. I was like, well, shouldn't I be on Instagram with my chairs? Shouldn't I just put pictures up? And okay, this is part of my job description. I am a content creator. It's been great because I know I've gotten chair sales from it. I know people have joined my course because they find me online, either through my ads or just they follow me. It's kind of just been a little bit of a journey, and it's taken a while to get to where I'm at.
So for context, you're just below 200,000 followers right now. You
Yes.
just hit 195,000 since we had lunch.
Yes.
So you started on Instagram in 2012, was it, or 2015?
I was on Instagram in 2015.
And then what was your next milestone, your next growth milestone from there?
Right. So I think it was about 2018. And I noticed when I hit 8,000, it began to just kind of snowball. I mean, it was more consistent growth. Like, it was really painful to get over that speed hump, is what it felt like. But I would keep posting. I would just every day show up with a different chair, show a makeover, a before and after, or something like that. And that was just pictures. And then I got to 64,000, and it stayed there for a long time, almost a year. And then all of a sudden a viral post happened, and I doubled with a viral post.
You went from 60,000 followers to 120 from one post.
I did.
What was that post, and why do you think it went viral?
It was a post of me doing a fast motion chair, upholstering it. And I had a really great voiceover where I said, everyone thinks upholstery is really hard, but really it's just a series of steps. You do this first, and then you do that next, and then you create something magical, and then it shows the end of the chair. And really that voiceover was just an off the cuff, how do I feel in the moment? What do I want to say? And I just said it from my gut. And I find that when I do that, I usually come out with some genius thing that if I would have tried to plan it, it wouldn't have happened.
I am nodding my head so hard right now because this is not the first time I've heard this concept. And it's something that I try to channel for myself. And it's almost like your best ideas come from when you're in that energetic state.
Right. And I also think, it's also from the core of who you are. Like, if you are willing to be vulnerable enough to just let it come out naturally, I think there's something about the authenticity, and people can tell.
You doubled your following overnight to 120,000 followers. And this was recently?
That happened about a year ago. And then all of a sudden, the Instagram gods started liking me. For whatever reason, because I haven't changed necessarily many of the things I'm doing, except, and I don't always use trending audio, but I will more. I'm trying to pay attention to that more. Giving a variety in my reels, using InstaChamp autoresponder for people to comment back. That has definitely helped because it boosts how much engagement's happening. And then I'm also responding back, even though they're getting the DM with the link to my wait list or my freebie. But when that happened in January, I have creeped up all the way to now, today, right now, 195.
When you had that post go viral, were you trying to replicate the success of that post with your future posts? Was that part of your strategy as you kind of crept up?
Not necessarily. Now, that viral post, I do repost it. So I have it saved in my camera roll, has that voiceover on it, and I just add different music to it. But if I'm using that for a specific thing, like getting on my wait list for my upholstery course that's about to open, I'll post it at least 3 weeks before. And every time there's something about that reel that resonates and it grabs people's attention and they go and sign up.
Well, I love that you're not afraid to literally repost the same post that you know does well. How did you make that post so that you have a copy that you can share over and over again?
Right. So I took the video and I use a video editor called InShot, and I loaded it into there and sped it up. Basically just recorded my voiceover in InShot and then saved it to my camera roll. So it's very, very easy. I have actually taken that same video when my course is open, and I'll put it back into InShot, take off the N, instead of saying join my wait list, join my course. It's now open. And I'll change the audio just at the end, save that, and then post that during the week that my upholstery course is open.
That is such a good hack for course creators. If you have a piece of content that you know does well, post it weeks before your wait list or your course is live or whatever, and then just change the call to action at the end.
Right.
That's brilliant. Sometimes we overthink things way too much, and it's like the answer is sometimes right in front of us, right? You mentioned that over the last 4 to 5 months, you feel like the algorithm is favoring you now, which is not what you hear people talk about. Did you do anything different, or do you think Instagram has shifted in a way that suddenly you're getting more in front of your target follower?
Right. I think it's Instagram has shifted because I have continued to do the same thing. And that's been part of the frustration that we've all felt, right? We're just sitting there. I've had to have the attitude and adopt that I don't care if I get many likes on a post or a reel, because it just means Instagram wasn't showing it to my audience. And so I don't worry about hiding it. I guess if I was an influencer promoting products, I would worry about that, but I don't have to. It's just about me, right? And what I want to promote. And so I just don't worry about it because I know it's not me. When people see my content, my followers, they like it. Within Instagram, they are getting better. So I do think that there's a lot of hope for all of us. I have other friends who are experiencing the same thing that I have after being stagnant for a long time. So I think that there is hope coming down the pipeline for everybody.
Are you trying to make content appeal to non-followers, or are you just doing your thing and letting Instagram figure it out?
Right. I think I am just doing my thing. And I think one key is to just try to think about good hooks. I mean, when I'm on a walk exercising or I'm at the gym or something, that's where I get all my good ideas. And I always have my phone handy and I just record the hook, and then sometimes I get on a roll where I just get a lot of them and I just put them in my phone so that, or if I think of an idea for a video, I'm like, okay, do a video on this. And I have it so that later I can go find the footage because, I'm filming myself all the time and I piece together things, or I just get a really good idea from like, oh yeah, my audience would really love this. And so I just try to think in a more creative way of how to meet my people. And it's very interesting because some of these reels in the past 4 months have been shown to more non-followers than followers. So it's very strange. And I think that's where all my follows are coming from because I can see them on the reel, right? And so I don't know why, but I'm grateful. I'm like, I'm going with this for as long as it takes me.
Not questioning it, just accepting it.
Exactly.
Yeah. How long does it take you to make a reel on average?
So if I already have the footage, which, I always plan when I'm doing my work, I'll film. And so I even use old footage. I'll pull things from several years ago and still use them and repurpose. But if I have the footage already, I can put together a reel in about 5 minutes in InShot, have it recorded, do my voiceover. And what I have found, people like my voice, and I don't know why. I don't like it. And I've had people in my comments, please do a voiceover. We like your voice. I'm like, really? Okay. It's really not rocket science. It's paying attention to what does well and trying to repeat and, using different kinds of transitions or just trying to figure out what's going to be fun on this and grab people's attention. Because Instagram with the reels right now, they want, cutting. They want quick movement. Once I have it downloaded on my phone, I put it into Instagram, add the music, add my captions over the reel, and then go add in the words that I want to put with my little hashtags and everything.
Before you hit post on a reel, do you have a sense in your gut of whether this reel is going to do well and really resonate with my people?
Not at all. And sometimes I play the game of, okay, I don't want to look, or whatever. So I just try to follow the comments. But I do think a key is my friend and I, we kind of practice this thing called power hour. Once we post, stay around 30 minutes to an hour and respond to comments, to get it going. A lot of the times that really does kind of, catapult it and help it to reach a lot of people.
You've mentioned your friend a few times. This is making me think, did you two become accountability buddies for each other? And is that what helped you keep the momentum going even when you weren't getting the results you wanted necessarily?
I think so. I think so because when you have friends who are also in the creative space and they're posting, she's always commenting on mine and I always comment on hers, so we have that kind of going. But, I do think it's like I've got to hold up my end of the bargain too. I'm out here. I'm not going to grow if I don't show up and I don't do what I need to do. So I at least should just try. And I try to hold it lightly. Try to not take it to heart if I don't get a lot of likes. No, this is a part of my job as a content creator. And if we don't keep putting ourselves out there, no one's going to find us. Even during those dark nights of the soul when we're stagnant and we don't grow, I think the key is to just consistently be consistent. It'll start matching up with your right followers. And I think Instagram is trying to do a lot of things right now that are going to help us, to be seen by more people.
Do you post every day?
I do post every day, although in the past few months, I have allowed myself a buy day once a week. Like if there's just a crazy morning, I'm like, okay, this is the day I'm not going to do anything. But I usually do try to show up in stories, just a 60-second story, talking to my people, telling them what I'm doing for the day or asking them a question or something that's on my mind, just for good connection.
Yeah.
I'm building a community.
Yeah. And they feel that from you. You mentioned something earlier that I want to circle back on because I think you called it an InstaChamp autoresponder. Is that the correct name? What is that?
Okay, so InstaChamp, MobileMonkey, there's another brand called Manychat. It is where you set up a post or a reel on Instagram. And so I have paid for a membership. And so once I post on Instagram, I go into InstaChamp and I say, and I have a call to action, comment workshop. If you want to, attend my free workshop this weekend, or comment chair, and I'll send you my freebie that I have that shows all these great fabrics or whatever. And so I go in immediately after I post, I select the post, and I put in the comments that people will say. Now, I not only put in that comment like chair,
right, the keyword,
the keyword, but I also put in the word comment because I capitalize comment and, chair so that they see it. And I do have people who will just write comment. I'm like, okay. And so what happens is once they do that in their DMs, the link is automatically sent to them. So I don't have to go through all my DMs and try to keep up all day long, especially if the post gets a lot of views and a lot of comments. It's too much to keep up. I gotta go make chairs, right? So I've got other work to do. So it really does help, but it helps the engagement on that post.
So I know tracking is really difficult with Instagram. What's your sense? Is Instagram helping you generate more leads to your business, or are you also getting sales to your course that you sell?
Right. So I know that I am getting some sales. I can't tell you exactly how many. Sometimes for a bonus for my DIY upholstery course, when people would sign up, I would do a one-on-one, 10-minute coffee chat. And so when I would get on the Zoom with them for their 10-minute bonus, chat with me for 10 minutes about anything they want, I always ask them, so where'd you find me? And I do have people say, oh, I saw you on Facebook or I saw you on Instagram. And just last week, I got a chair sale on my Etsy shop because I have been promoting these chairs that I have made. And people had asked, are these chairs for sale? So I just wrote that. I said, a lot of people are asking if these chairs are for sale. So if you want to know, comment, shop, and I'll send you the link, and I did, and I got a sale, and I know it because that day in my sale, Etsy said, hey, we're giving you $60 back because people used your direct link to make that sale. So someone went on that link, purchased a chair, and I made extra money off of Etsy.
So for anyone watching, whether they have a product-based business or they're not feeling that excited about Instagram, maybe they've tried it before, they haven't had a video go viral, they feel like no one's really caring. Is there any advice you would give for them if they're feeling a little unsure whether to keep going with Instagram?
Yeah, I would say keep going. I mean, just decide that you're going to show up and just keep doing the best work that you can and putting out the best thing and challenge yourself to be creative. Like, don't feel like you need to copy me or copy someone else. Just be you, because I think that is the secret sauce. We all have the things we nerd out on and geek out on, and other people love the weird stuff about us. Like, I talk about how many chairs I have in my garage, and I mean, that's weird. And like, I don't want people to think I'm a hoarder, but it is the truth. And people think it's funny and they're like, oh, and I can't tell you how many people come out of the closet and say, I love chairs. And I have so many that I even have to hide them from my husband, kind of thing. So,
How many chairs are we talking?
oh, I have a lot. They're hanging from the rafters. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Wendy, for sharing your Instagram secrets. I know you're going to race to 200K so fast. I hope I can chase behind you and get there as well. But thanks for your tips. And just hearing you, a fellow business owner in a totally different niche and industry than me, is so motivating to just get creative and more than anything, tap into the energy of how I'm feeling, how my target follower might be feeling, and what could they need to hear today. I think that's what goes so far. So thank you so much for being here. If anyone wanted to connect with you on Instagram or check out your chairs, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, so just find me at Chair Whimsy. I'm at Chair Whimsy across all the platforms. You can find me that way.
And side note, did you know that a huge TikTok influencer just named her daughter Whimsy? Like, you were ahead of this trend?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I wish it would have been me.
Well, good for you. It was a good name, and you're probably going to get some extra hits to your website because of that word whimsy. So
That'd be awesome.